Hey guys, time for a Tech News Day.
A little over a year ago, Amazon revealed one of their boldest moves yet in their quest to disrupt brick-and-mortar retail. Amazon Go!
That's how I say it.
Their concept for an urban convenience store where instead of standing in line to pay a cashier for your Doritos and your Mountain Dew, you scumbag, you just grab that shit and you walk out. And Amazon charges the whole transaction to your account automatically.
It was a wild idea, that's for sure, and one that naturally came with some controversy. First off, it sounded like there was no damn way this was going to work reliably. But you mean, that's on Amazon. Hey, you told me to leave. You said I was free to go. Then, of course, there's this whole dystopian aspect, with Amazon Go combining two things about the future that most people are pretty uncomfortable with. Mass surveillance and having all jobs replaced by robots.
We took two of your biggest anxieties and we put it in
It's
the
called
store.
synergy.
But after a year of beta testing the store on Amazon's thousands of Seattle employees, though, it seems like they've worked out the kinks enough to open Amazon Go to the public.
We should call it Amazon. What are you waiting for? You don't even have to do anything.
Amazon Go, go, go. So yeah, it's open to the public, although all those dystopian undertones are still very much in play. But hey guys, convenience.
Yeah.
So how does all this work, and when can you expect an Amazon Go store to come to your town and steal all of your friends' jobs?
Well, the answer to that question is that you can probably, for now, breathe a sigh of relief. Because from the looks of things, none of this is very cost effective yet. Of course, when tech like this rolls out, it gets cheaper along the way. And this whole thing, it's not very cost effective yet because how it works involves a absolutely ludicrous amount of surveillance and tracking technology that can't possibly be cheaper than just paying a few teenagers minimum wage to scan shit. Again, for now. This is still a proof of concept, at this point at least, and Amazon hasn't announced any plans for more locations aside from their one store in downtown Seattle.
So, step one for actually trying this thing out yourself is to either already live in Seattle or book a trip there.
I mean, weed is legal up there.
Yeah, the second option, though, is probably more cost-effective now that Amazon's tech bros have driven housing prices in the city of grunge through the roof and priced out everyone else. It's bad. Go on Zillow.com, just swipe around there.
There was a time-lapse the other day, time-lapse animated GIF of the construction in Seattle over the past 3 years. And it's like,
every time we go for PAX, I'm like, wait, what the fuck?
Where's the sun?
Well, the sun, you're not gonna have a good time if you go looking for the sun in Seattle.
Yeah, well, I guess you're right.
But yeah, once you're in Seattle, you download the Amazon Go app and you head to the corner of 7th Avenue and Blanchard. You're gonna see a guy named Hogpuss. You're
gonna tell you where to go.
Tell him the password clam chowder.
Yeah.
He's gonna say the white or the red. No,
Ken sent me.
Yeah, you go to that street corner, you'll see the store. You're gonna walk in, you're gonna touch the app's QR code on your phone to a sensor like you're getting on the subway in New York. You're gonna grab the shit you wanna buy, and then you walk right back out.
Yeah, but don't try any funny business.
They're watching.
Yeah. The entire time you're in that store, you are being watched. Hundreds of cameras, some standard, some depth cameras, line the store ceiling, and together use AI to follow you around, track your movements, and identify when you're grabbing something and what you're grabbing. The AI camera system is further assisted by weight sensors under literally every product in the store, detecting when something is being picked up or even put back, which was my first question of just like, I don't really want these cheese logs.
No, you put it back.
Put it back, it's fine.
Yeah, and then you get a notification. Good job. Good
Thank
job.
you for being honest.
You don't want those cheese logs.
Yeah, so you can't just like go up and grab something and like throw it over the counter or something like that. And then it's like, hey, it's not my bag.
Yeah, I think we're gonna see a lot of people trying certain things in this store,
I
especially in downtown Seattle. For all the gentrification going on, still a fucking wild place.
Yeah.
A lot of crazy people, a lot of homeless people.
I think that Amazon has probably, obviously in theory, they didn't let anyone keep the items, but probably hired like 10 people to be like, hey, we want you to go in here and try to steal stuff, and then come back and we'll fill out this report and see how you did.
Yeah.
They've probably done that, and you gotta imagine that they've troubleshooted
They
it.
fixed the glitch.
Yeah.
But yeah, they even sell beer and wine.
Uh-oh.
Although, thanks to big government, you still have to present your photo ID to a human staffer, like some sort of savage.
Well, there goes all the cost savings.
Oh, I have to interact. Boo.
Boo.
As for the rest of the non-alcoholic inventory, though, it's pretty much what you'd expect from a high-end convenience store. You got basic groceries and snacks and drinks, but also some seriously decent-looking grab-and-go sandwiches and salads prepared on-site by human beings.
So there you go. They're not getting rid of all humans so far. It's because of Whole Foods, right?
No,
That Whole Foods integration.
Apparently, this has nothing to do.
They have a Whole Foods sign
There's
in
like
there. I
one
saw
little
that,
rack
yeah.
of like they just put
Buy
the
your-
Whole Foods brand on.
Get
some shit.
your soaps and Tom's shoes here and carry them right out. So anyways, while cashiers are out of a job here, the fact that robots don't yet know how to prepare a turkey club means that Amazon Go isn't exactly declaring all-out war on human employment just yet anyways. Also, as for concerns about creepy surveillance, the whole tracking system apparently doesn't involve any facial recognition. Instead, it just follows your whole body around the store, never taking its eyes off of you. So a little less creepy, but still creepy.
Every breath you take.
I'll be watching.
That's just on loop in there.
Yeah, we're watching you.
Also, while they got the whole process good enough for the public to use, apparently there's still issues that can come up. The app specifically tells you not to grab items off the shelf to hand to another customer because the cameras will end up charging you.
Ooh.
So there's a good strategy. You go in there and say,
Hey,
bro,
can you hold this for a second?
Hey, can you hand me that?
Oh, yeah.
Can you hand me that? Thanks.
Thanks,
Then-
buddy.
And then they get charged.
Yeah.
Also, CNBC reporter Deirdre Boza managed to inadvertently shoplift a cup of yogurt from the store on launch day. So it seems like these problems are not common enough to really be much of a concern for Amazon, so whatever.
Yeah.
Every business has shoplifters. Amazon's okay with it.
Hey, buddy, can you hand me that 50-pack of Trojan condoms?
Magnums.
Magnums, baby. Anyways, it'll be really interesting to see how quickly, if at all, Amazon tries to expand this idea to more locations. You could assume that one day Whole Foods around the country would have this technology set up in them, but whatever. This whole thing depends entirely on whether it's actually cost effective at all, aside from research purposes, which right now we highly doubt. It also depends on whether the Amazon Go shopping experience is a one-time novelty for people, or if it would be something they'd come back to. You could just have it delivered to your door instead, for most things.
From Amazon.
Yeah, and you wouldn't want to get milk sent if you're not there to pick it up, but at the very least, the technology is a huge upgrade over self-checkout tech, because that is aggravating as well, because you might know what you're doing, but
never
you get
fucking
behind
works.
You get behind like 3 people who have no idea what the fuck they're doing, and they can't scan
Every
anything.
fucking
What do you mean I gotta
time.
type in the code for potatoes? I should be able to scan a piece of vegetable or fruit.
Every time I go, I'll get like 75% of the way through.
And then you try to get a bottle of wine.
Or
like, sir, you gotta go to the other line.
Yeah, or it'll say like, wait for cashier.
Yeah.
And they got one person manning like 20 fucking self-checkout lines.
It's a
so you're
bad
just
deal.
like, wow, this is taking longer than it would have otherwise.
Yeah. Those never work. Again, though, this whole thing, it's probably 1,000 times more expensive than even self-checkout. So who knows? Does this idea appeal to any of you watching? We're genuinely curious. At this point,
I think it's a plan from the government to get us all used to the idea of mass surveillance so that we don't care when they put security cameras on every telephone pole like in London.
yeah. Well, I think here's my thing. I've never used it yet. I am curious, although there's a reason I haven't used it yet, but Target now does, you order everything on the app,
Yeah.
and they just have it ready in like 20 or 30 minutes. You just go
Yeah.
pick it up and leave.
Yeah.
You've already paid for it. But I find shopping therapeutic, so
I hate
I like walking around and hearing the music and the bright lights and
I am
feeling
not a
calm.
fan.
I got a bad case of retail therapy that I gotta.
I enter a retail store once a year, and I'm like, oh yeah, this is why I hate this.
No.
Hate it.
Most places deliver now, at least in LA.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
I'll try the Target thing. Who knows?
But speaking of convenience,
Yeah.
this week's episode is brought to you by Bond. Bond is the easiest way to send physical, handwritten notes using your phone or computer. You want to send someone a nice handwritten note, but your handwriting is atrocious? Bond is for you, sir.
Yeah.
Thousands of customers, from individuals to large businesses, use Bond's technology to personally connect and build meaningful relationships.
No stamps, no problem. You simply create your notes through your phone or computer, and you can send physical and lasting correspondence as easily as writing a text or an email. Choose from Bond's designer stationery, or create your own by uploading photos, logos, and more. You can even get your own handwriting digitized, or pick one of Bond's 17 unique styles.
Better yet, your note is written with pen by a robot on premium stationery using Bond's exclusive robot technology. And then it's placed in an envelope, stamped, sealed, and shipped at no additional cost. If you run a business, Bond Groups is a great way to send welcome notes to your business and new customers every month. It's also great for stuff like thank you notes to your wedding attendees, holiday greeting cards for your whole address book, and so on. And now you can get 20% off your first order when you visit bond.co/TechNewsDay. And that is bond.co/TechNewsDay.
Yeah, that just made me realize that when I have my wedding and send out invites and correspondence to say thank you, I'll probably use this because, you know what?
Thank you for coming to
I
my
got the
wedding.
carpal tunnel from too much gaming. I can't be bothered to write all these notes.
Too much of that game.
But anyways, we got to move on because we have to move on to a guy who should probably send out a few personalized apology letters. That is Travis Kalanick.
Woo!
You might remember him as the ousted CEO and founder of Uber, whose antics have provided this show with just so much material, just fascinating material over the years. He's up there with Malachi Love Robinson and Martin Scarelli. Up until Uber's shareholders forced his resignation last June, it seemed like nearly every week we were hearing about a new example of Uber being shady as hell.
Examples include booking thousands of fake Lyft rides to mess with the competition, tracking users when they weren't on rides, devising elaborate schemes to avoid law enforcement, lying to drivers about how much money they'd make, refusing to abide by California's self-driving car laws, allegedly stealing a bunch of self-driving tech from Alphabet, being generally hostile towards any scrutiny from the press, and, oh yeah, a big giant sexual harassment and gender discrimination scandal. All in just a few short years, and those are just the big bullet points.
Yeah. But anyway, Uber's biggest investors finally got together last summer and decided they'd had enough of this negative publicity. You know, people told us when we were in college, any publicity is good publicity. Well, they were wrong. It nearly sank our company. Anyways, they forced Kalanick to resign as CEO, though he at least has a seat on the board of directors and a huge stake in the company. But now, thanks to an article this week from Bloomberg, we've got a much clearer picture of the last days of Travis Kalanick. And once again, this is fascinating.
So according to Bloomberg, last February, a bunch of Uber executives had a little meeting specifically about how Travis Kalanick's image was bad for the company. Travis Kalanick was there. They had conducted a survey, and they found that while about half the population had a positive impression of Uber, if respondents knew anything about Travis Kalanick, they overwhelmingly felt negative about Uber. The conversation got pretty contentious, as you might imagine, and then one executive excused herself to answer a phone call. She then returned a few moments later and asked Travis Kalanick and another executive to join her in the hallway.
The call that she'd received in the middle of a meeting about how Travis Kalanick's image was hurting Uber was about how a video had just surfaced on the internet of Travis Kalanick riding in an Uber and being a total dick to the driver when the driver complained to him about the fares being too low. The guy drove for the more upscale Uber Black and said he'd invested a bunch of money in a luxury car for it and was now bankrupt because the fares had gone down so much. Kalanick famously ended the argument by yelling, "Some people don't like to take responsibility for their own shit. They blame everything in their life on somebody else."
According to Bloomberg, the three of them stood in silence after that clip ended until Kalanick got down on his hands and knees and said, "This is bad. I'm terrible." Not long after, he decided to meet privately with that driver, with the plan being that it would just be 5 minutes of pleasantries and an apology, and that'd be it. But the meeting ended up picking up where their argument had left off and lasted an hour despite other executives in the room trying their best to get Kalanick to just apologize and leave. Stop digging.
Kalanick ended up offering to give the driver a bunch of Uber stock, which made everyone else in the room hugely uncomfortable because Uber can't just pay off every disgruntled driver with stock shares whenever there's a controversy. To Kalanick's credit, though, he ended up just giving the driver $200,000 of his own money once Uber's lawyers made it clear his first idea was a no-go. Anyways, there's a lot more to that article. It's a good long read. But in the end, what brought Travis Kalanick down was that he was playing with other people's money, and those investors eventually all agreed that their investment would be in much better shape if the CEO and founder of Uber was no longer the face of the company. Don't feel too bad for him, though. He's a billionaire who never has to work another day in his life. And now their CEO is some dude whose name you don't know, which is great for business.
Yeah.
There you go.
The whole article's fascinating. A great read. About a man just constantly digging his hole deeper and deeper.
Yeah.
Like, even after he lost his CEO position, like, he still could have stayed with the company. He could have probably gotten his job back in a few years, but he was apparently, like, just doing backroom deals, like, basically planning, like, a coup to get his job back, and it all just... Quite a story. Can't wait for the movie.
He should stop blaming everyone else for his mistakes.
Yeah, some people can't take responsibility for their own shit.
Yeah, Travis.
In other tech news tidbits, Australia
Hey.
has recently been investing in drone technology to help with coastal lifeguard operations, and one of those drones has already saved 2 lives on its very first day on the job,
Good boy.
rescuing 2 teenage boys who got swept out to sea in New South Wales last week, where probably they were just moments away from being eaten by a shark.
Or bitten by a sea spider.
Yeah, any of those things.
Mm-hmm.
It's a world first, drone rescue, and it's a pretty great example that this kind of tech is worth the investment.
Oh, yeah. The Australian lifeguard drones are used to patrol for stuff like sharks and swimmers who are out too far, and can just drop an inflatable pod down to anyone in need. Lifeguards were able to get the pod to the boys just 70 seconds after seeing that they were in distress, which they said would have taken a few minutes longer, at least otherwise. And when you're drowning, those minutes can obviously mean the difference between life and death. It is when I first saw the headline, I'm like, wait, hold on. They put a hook on this drone and like fly him out with a drone, but no, it was way simpler than that.
Yeah,
They just drop a rescue pod.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's genius.
Great.
Because you're putting, especially it helps too when you're putting lifeguards' lives at risk going out into to rescue people like this.
Yeah.
Because the currents in a lot of these places are overwhelming.
Real bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. Moving on, if you use Twitter, you should go dig around in your email because they are now letting users know if you interacted with any of the 3,000 or so accounts that they've now identified as being directly linked to Russia's Internet Research Agency, aka the Russian troll farm that the Russian government used during the election to shitpost America into a frenzy. Twitter has also provided examples of the kinds of tweets these accounts are putting out, and it's pretty much what you would expect, actually. It's the kind of shit your aunt posts on Facebook to own the libs.
Gotcha. Luckily, that's all behind us now, and everything is back to normal on Twitter, right, Elliot?
We did it.
What's weird, though, is how believable all the posts are. They really feel like shit that real Americans would post, down to the names and handles. So it's pretty creepy knowing that the posts were actually made by Russian government employees who've probably never even stepped foot in the U.S.
They know us better than we know ourselves.
And while it's nice that Twitter is being transparent about all this, it's not like this is going to change anyone's mind. The people most in need of a sit-down conversation about Russian social media election manipulation are the people that are least likely to give a shit.
Yeah.
So, was that duck part of it? Or that Mark Wahlberg wearing a helmet?
What?
Were they Twitter bots?
I don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
There's like these 2 accounts that always follow up whenever Trump tweets with like...
Oh, like seconds after he tweets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I gotta go through them and check them all. But the funniest part about this was that Republican, was he senator or congressman?
John Cornyn of Texas.
Yeah, where he was like, you see, Twitter's letting it's Twitter's fault. And he's like, sir, you got this email because you had liked, retweeted, or followed a Russian bot.
Yeah.
It was a perfect example of self-owning.
A great cell phone.
Yeah. Anyways.
And one last bit of news. Apparently Apple and Google are dealing with a slight problem right now up north involving their employee shuttles being shot at on their way to work. The attacks seem to be coming from BB guns or pellet guns, so nothing too dangerous, I guess, but they've resulted in a lot of broken windows and no doubt scared shitless employees. And they've also forced those employees to wake up a whole lot earlier in the morning to catch the bus, which now takes a totally different route to avoid the areas where they get shot at.
No, let's not get the police on this. Let's just.
Oh, the police are on it.
Yeah.
They haven't.
I just like it. It's like Apple and Google are using the same tactics that you would as a meek, terrified child who takes the wrong way home from school. You're just like, you know what? Fuck it. I know it's faster to get home this way, but I'm gonna walk around the neighborhood because I know that RJ, the local bully, is gonna give me a wedgie. Where you going, Google? Come and get your beating, Google. Well, one day Google's gonna fight back. They're just gonna run that bus right over these fucking kids. Anyways, as for why this is happening, the best guess seems to be anger from Bay Area locals about gentrification, which is driving property values through the roof. What's extra crazy is that none of these employee shuttles are labeled, so whoever is doing this is putting a lot of planning into waking up early, posting up next to the freeway, and carefully taking aim at unmarked vehicles, all just to send a message that the rent is too damn high. And yeah, the rent is too damn high, but shooting at moving vehicles probably not the best solution to this problem. It's like the people in affluent neighborhoods here who like just bought like cheap plastic barriers online and would put them in the neighborhoods and then put that there was a road closure on Waze.
Oh yeah.
Because people would keep going through their neighborhoods on Waze.
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
That's a big problem here.
At least they weren't shooting at people, though.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Cones, not bullets.
exactly. Caution tape, not police tape. Yeah.
Anyway, that's it for Tech News Day this week. Check out a new episode of Tugs. What was that one about?
Oh, Nintendo selling people trash.
Oh yeah, the Nintendo trash console.
Yeah. Also, there's gonna be a Dune
Nintendo
movie.
labia.
There's gonna be a Dune movie too, and you might be morbidly curious about that because we were. So check out both those videos, and don't forget to subscribe.
Yeah,
If you're not
'cause
subscribed, hit the subscribe button.
I don't think they're going to subscribe. More than likely, they'll unsubscribe.
Don't do it.
$8.99, baby. Woo! We did it.